Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're still on Idea Money Digest on Idea Television. Now it's what's trending. In a shocking incident on February 24th, 2026, former presidential candidate Peter Obi narrowly escaped an assassination attempt in Benin City, Edo State, after gunmen opened fire on a convoy of opposition politicians at the residence of former ruling party chairman Chief John Odige Oyegun. Dr. Yunusa Tanko, formerly Obi's campaign spokesperson and currently national coordinator of the Obedient Movement Worldwide, issued a statement from Abuja confirming the attack, which he said occurred shortly after the formal declaration of senior lawyer Olumide Akpata as a member of the African Democratic Congress. Armed men, he said, trailed the group from the AD6 secretariat directly to Chief Odigwe Oyegun's private residence, where they shot at the gate and set upon several vehicles parked within the compound. Photographs and video footage circulated by Dr. Tanko showed the windscreen of multiple sport utility vehicles smashed beyond repair, while the gate to Chief Odige Oyegun's residence bore visible bullet holes. And the video has been displayed on the TV right now. But when we look at this is a really depressing news for us to hear that a set of politicians in Nigeria, and somebody as very high as Peter Obi, is being a target of an assassination attempt. Whoever has done this does not mean well for the country. No matter our political division in Nigeria, we still want to have a society that is sane, that is free from attacks and free from political targeting and killing of people all around. Because should this man be killed, whether or not you believe in his policies or not, is going to descend this country into a chaos that we do not want to see. And I hope that authorities will not look at this and say that this is just another thing. Investigation must be done properly to understand who are the people behind this, what was their intention. Was the intention to kill? Was the intention to intimidate? Was the intention to scare? So that we can know what we are doing. And this present administration has a responsibility at hand. We saw what happened while President Trump was being targeted while he was seeking his re-election. We saw how Biden swung into action and provided a lot of security for him. This is what is needed from the federal government of Nigeria right now to ensure that they double the security of people who are of political importance to this country, so that Nigerians will not be able to point fingers at them to say that you people aid and abetted or even supported. Allegations will fly all around, but when the government do their responsibility, they will be able to ensure that this does not go on. Nigeria has witnessed a lot of political assassination in our history, but since 1999 we've seemed to be going on a particular trajectory. We don't want to go back.
I think when I first saw this, I think what came to my mind is like, this is not a normal, just like you say, we should not take this as lightly and, lightly as well, because this is not just an isolated attack. If you look at it very well, it tells us about the current climate in Nigerian politics. And Peter Obi is not a, he's an high-profile individual, and he is of in the opposition space, of course. And an incident like this is alarming because it is not happening on the fringes. It is happening in Benin City. Benin is a city in Edo State. It's an urban center. It's not just one village or one place that will say, an isolated place that will say, oh, and even as we saw that as we heard that the car was traced. I mean, they followed up with shootings until they got to Chief John Odige's residence. And I just feel like armed men actually tracing a convoy from ADC secretariat to a private home shooting. I mean, this is not just an intimidation any longer. It's a targeted aggression, and like you say, it has to be investigated, because it raises a lot of questions about our security protocols in Nigeria, especially for political figures in Nigeria. And let's not forget, this is coming at a time when Olumide Akpata, a very prominent, important figure in I've just a lawyer in Nigeria, has just joined the ADC. I don't see this as a coincidence, maybe or maybe not, but for all of us at home, this signals pressure in our political space, and it's a serious problem. Like you said, this needs to be investigated. It really needs to be investigated.
Well, indeed, it has to be investigated, and we do not want the country to descend into chaos. leading up to, we have a few months left before the next year general elections. But moving on to the another story. A viral video circulating on social media shows a community chairman in Boki, Cross River State, being publicly humiliated over allegations of misappropriating road rehabilitation funds. The footage shows the man bound with wooden handcuffs attached to a log sitting on the ground and surrounded by locals. The event highlights frustrations with grassroots corruption in Nigeria, where vigilante across actions fill gaps in official accountability. As of February 25, 2026, no statements from Cross River Authority or police have emerged, and the chairman's exact identity remains unconfirmed, though the video continues to spark debates on community enforcement versus legal processes. Well, this is another example of some of the actions that I think is very bad in our society, which is a jungle justice, because this is what we are seeing now. There is no court that has legally tried this man and found them wanting of corruption. So I believe that people are aggrieved, people are agitated, but do we take laws into our hands and dehumanize people like this? That's on one hand. But on the other hand, this should be a wake-up call for people in higher authority. When it starts to happen to people at the local level like this, governors should be worried that they too will be tied with their legs. This one is even still wearing clothes. There are people that we see that they are not wearing clothes. They've stripped them naked. And these are actions that are inhuman. But when people are pushed to extreme, these are the responses, or these are the reaction that you see. So the government must know that they are responsive to the people. And their policies and actions and everything they do in terms of governance must also be responsive to the needs of the people. And you cannot be a person of a political importance in the country and you said you can do whatever you want, you embezzle money. I live in a place in Abuja that the road has been constructed many times. You see them bring the granite today, they will just pack it and drop all of the sand somewhere and go away. And in the next 2 years, they'll come again, do the same thing. Everywhere will be flooded. At the end of the day, money is being budgeted for this activity over and over and over and over again, and nobody is being accountable for it. So when we begin to see activities such as this, I think it should be a wake-up call to other higher political officials in Nigeria to see that when push comes to shove, you might find yourself in this position, or even worse.
The fact that there is no official statement yet from the Cross River State authorities is a problem as well, because this silence could also suggest either is it a tacit acceptance or a bureaucratic slow response to a problem like this that needs serious attention. Because either way, I think this is just mirroring how citizens have lost faith in a former system, how citizens have lost faith in accountability mechanisms in the country. And it also brings that debate about how communities should, if communities should step up when institutions fail, because this is clearly jungle justice, which is not acceptable. It's something that should be taken to, they shouldn't bypass the law. It's something that should be taken to, the right bodies, the proper bodies, and, to be looked into. But at the end of the day, like I said, this is just the reflection of the people's frustration, just like you mentioned, especially seeing that it's even at the grassroots level. They might just say law should sit one place and let's, we have to teach this person a lesson, so this person can learn for tomorrow. But this, like I go back to saying, this is when institution fails us, this is what we get. But we don't want to risk at the end of the day law enforcement being ignored, when they should be doing what they need to do. But for Cross River State government to not come out and give any official statement regarding this, that's where the law starts to, fail us.
Indeed. Moving on to the last story for today, the Nigerian Police Force has clarified that 100 million naira transfers to the personal account of Victor Egbetokun, son of Kayode Egbetokun, the former Inspector General of Police, was made in an error. The clarification followed an online report alleging that Victor received 100 million naira from the Anambra State government's security vote account. Speaking during an interview, Benjamin Hundeyin The first spokesperson said Victor reported the incident to the police, adding that the funds were reversed immediately. Hundeyin added that the former IGP's son has petitioned the EFCC for that allegation to be investigated and that the account has since been closed. He further described the incident as a mistaken transaction with the money returned to the state government account shortly after the incident. Well, I wonder if 100 million naira can mistakenly find its way into your account this morning. But as we've seen from Hundeyin, who has also clarified that this money actually, it could be a human error that allowed this to transfer into the account, and the young man Victor also raised the alarm to the authority that he actually got money into his account, and EFCC has also been alerted, and the money has been reverted back into the right sources. But all of these things, people don't want to hear it. People want to listen to the incompetency that has happened or the corruption that has happened that was actually covered, because it could be an alleged corruption case that has just happened and has been covered. And I'm sure that the EFCC would also be interested. I mean, should they be interested in finding out how this has was happened? Because 100 million naira security vote that is meant to go to another state, from the agency to a state, they're supposed to go directly. There's an account. So how come the Inspector General Police son's account was used? How mistakenly? So the mistakenly is a really it's a big there's a big quotation mark hanging over that mistake word. And it's very interesting how we've seen issues such as this, where we see snakes swallowing million, or a monkey cutting away with something, or finding money in septic tanks or roofs and all of that. So you can't fault people when people are saying that this is another tactic. If this was not opened to the public, you people would not come out and say that actually I received this. Was there a public statement that was released until the report was announced that you received this money in your account? That is when you started to talk about it. So this is it calls into a question the authenticity of this narrative from Hundeyin, and it calls into the question as well, the transparency and the accountability that goes on within the system when exactly money is being transferred from one agency to another. We saw what happened to the former Minister of is it Women Affairs, the former minister that was actually sacked by, I've forgotten her portfolio right now, by President Tinubu, after she was found wanting that she was diverting money to where other places, humanitarian affairs minister, Better Edu. So these things as this should not just be seen as something that will just sweep under the carpet. The 100 billion naira could have gone without anybody noticing at the end of the day, and we still don't know if this is a corruption case that has been swept under the carpet.
Well, just like you say, whether people believe it or not, this is a matter of, given Nigerians' history with security votes and, elite access to resources in the countries, they are allowed for skepticism here. It's only natural for them to be skeptical about his accountability, even if I commend his accountability, that he has come out to say, oh, this is it. He reported himself. But we also have to balance that with facts. Mistakes happen, we understand. Not to people are on different sides. It's a mistake. But how come...
who is responsible?
What I'm even looking at is the accounts involved. You have government accounts involved in this mistake. Why didn't they mistakenly send it to my own? You get? So government accounts here are involved. Are mistakenly. They didn't see Cynthia Bassey to send it to, to mistakenly send it. I would have reported myself as well, but then I think it's very easy to, 100 million first.
How did the accounts come into close proximity with that list? That's a question.
Because you say one number was, mistakenly.
Even if you're mistaken,
you cannot add that they were the name.
Even people using this name. Fintech companies that you use to OPay and like Spampy and the rest.
You see the
mistake a number, the name there will actually show that this is not correct, or it will even flag it. So how did this account come into close proximity with the lists that was provided for them to transfer
the money.
And how was the money transferred without a due diligence, looking at it that this is Egbetokun, and Egbetokun does not relate to another street. That is a Yoruba person. So how did Egbetokun enter? So those are questions that will really baffle people's mind.
Several years of most Nigerian salaries. I like to calculate those things.
So those are questions that people will ordinarily ask. And I mean, you said your own part. We hope that Nigerians hope that EFCC would also come out. At the end of the day, in the next 2-3 days, we will not hear anything again with this case, and it will sweep under the carpet. But thank you.
Yeah, I think we petitioned the EFCC as well.
Thank you. Thanks to the man, Victor Egbetokun, for the work well done. But that's as much as we can take this morning. It's been a wonderful conversation. My name is Adewale Olashukwu, and I've been hanging out with
Cynthia Vasi.
And you can follow us on our social media platforms at Idea Television to share your insights and also to share news, updates, and reports with us so that we can as well do well to broadcast it on our channel. Thank you for staying with us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Stay with us.